Hey, I need you to act like an EMT right this very second and take the pulse of your business. This is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate, and I want to ask you a question today. It is not a comfortable question, but it is something that you need to be asking yourself right this very minute. How's your business doing? First quarter 2025 is in the books. Over, fini. And we all know in the real estate business, most of what we did at the end of 2024 is what we would reap in the beginning of 2025. But how are you doing? I had this conversation last week, and I want you to consider this concept that came out of that conversation. Just something that I'd never thought of before. And the word is strong, but valid. Have you done a business autopsy? If you haven't, I want you to do that right now. I want you to look into the life of your business. An autopsy presumes that something is dead, and I'm not saying that your business is dead, but I want you to maybe do a business physical. Maybe that's a better word for it. Not quite as shocking, but some of you, your businesses are dead, and you need to do an autopsy. And an autopsy is to figure out what is the cause of the death. Now, in my opinion, it's crystal clear. In most cases, and I've done this business for 25 years, it's not what you are doing, it's how regularly you are doing it or not doing it that will create your success. So I want you to ask yourself, am I comfortable with where I am in 2025? Is it been exactly what I thought it would be? Here we are, the first week of April 2025. If I would rewind the clocks to April of 2024, what would you have projected forward 12 months from now? Are the rates what you thought? Is consumer confidence what you thought? Is activities in your market, and it might be different, we're in coastal South and North Carolina, is it better for buyer activity or seller activity or worse than you thought? Is your attitude or your income worse or better than you thought? Ask some tough questions. And as I often say, get quiet and listen to the answers. And then if you are saying absolutely things are spot on, then I'm happy for you. Congratulations, virtual high five, keep on keeping on. If you've said no, then I want you to ask yourself some further questions. If you're not where you need to be, you gotta ask yourself a question like this. Is my business reactionary or proactionary? Am I comfortable with answering the phone, but not making the phone ring? You have to ask yourself that question. Ask yourself this question. Are you doing daily activities? And really the final question, the best, biggest, and most important question that you need to ask is, do you have a plan? At the end of 2024, did you get serious about creating a complete and appropriate business plan for yourself? Did you sit down and say, and what I mean is, here are my expenses. Here is the amount of money that I need to make in order to pay those expenses and then do the extra things that I want to do in my life. Do you have that kind of a plan, that specific of a plan? Do you know those answers? Then did you go even further in that plan and say, if that's the amount of money that I need to make, that it's unacceptable for me to make any less than that to live the life that I want to live? Did you then go back and figure out, what am I willing to do to make that thing happen? Was the thing that you were willing to do just be reactionary to your database, reactionary to a lead that might have come across your computer or a referral that came your way? Or did you get really serious about being proactive and saying, hey, I see other people, open houses are working, cold calling is working, calling expireds is working, calling for sale by owners is working, doing postcard mailers is working. The list could go on and on and on. Guess what? Things that people are doing on a regular and consistent basis and getting serious about improving those activities are working. The internet is working, by the way. Social media is working. Instagram is working. Farming your database, nurturing your database and your sphere is working. Being involved in groups on Facebook is working. Going to clubs and civic organizations and golf courses and grocery stores and pizza parlors, all these things are working if they are done on a consistent and regular basis. So hopefully you've done this. Hopefully you've done this autopsy and you've said, no, I'm not exactly where I need to be. Here's the great news. Here's the incredible news about being an entrepreneur. You can decide right now, first week of April, that it's going to be a new year for you. You're going to say, for the next 12 months, I'm going to do this. I'm going to create this business plan. And by the way, if you need help creating this thing we call the life you choose, just reach out. I can send you the template to how to do that. It'll spit out at the end of it through a spreadsheet exactly what I've talked about, what you spend versus what you need to make to live the life you want to live. And then it even goes so far as to tell you what you need to do after you pick your pillars of business that you're going to proactively do to make that thing happen. Let's let the reactionary part of it be a bonus. Let that be like tips or just bonus money that you make at the end of the day. But let's get pro-actionary. Let's pick up the phone and do these things. Let's get down to work. So you pick your few pillars of business. You can back into this with our plan and figure out exactly what you need to do on a daily daily basis in order for that exact amount of money that you need, plus the bonuses or the reactionary part, to pop out at the end of the year. It is inevitable, not dependent on the market, completely dependent on your daily activities. But here's the problem. We don't do the autopsy. And what we try to do, if we do the autopsy and we say, hey, things aren't what they need to be, here's the biggest problem I see people making. They want to change their environment. They think something's got to change, right? You probably said that to yourself. I've got to make a change. And then they change their environment. They switch brokerages or teams or coaches. And what often needs to happen in that very same environment, on that very same team, and with that very same coach, is the change needs to happen with you and with me. You need to begin to start making activity changes and get serious about this business plan and your proactivity. If you can say you've honestly done all the work that you should have done and you're not satisfied with the outcome, then maybe you change your environment. But in my opinion, that's the last thing that you need to do. So after you hang up this video today, let's do a business autopsy. Are you where you want to be? And if you're not, let's get serious about that plan and the daily activities that we need to do in order to make that plan happen. And next April, we'll say it to each other, my success was inevitable. This is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate, and I hope today's video helps you rise up.